We got sound, we got lights, we got action, we got camera. We got a script.
I can come back later and
Completely
check.
unscripted. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
You check the levels?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Right. Door to close.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, thanks for coming and doing this interview with us. We appreciate you being here.
This is, I thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many NAMM shows have you been to in your life?
I started in 1976 going to them, but not for myself. I was working with different companies.
Who were you working with first when you started
When
coming?
I first started, I was working at a music store called Colleen Music in Burbank.
Are you from California? Or?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, born in Hollywood.
Nice.
Firstborn Italian family.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Where, when you were growing up, was there a lot of music in your house?
Well, my father was a professional musician. He was a trumpet player. Played with all the big bands out of New York during the 30s and 40s. Did all the Broadway shows like My Fair Lady, South Pacific, Hello Dolly. So when the big bands died out, he got into the restaurant business. So we had a little family restaurant, but I was growing up and he started teaching me trumpet at 5. So I played through the schools doing trumpet and then got into the desire of a guitar and then tried to be a musician. But not, couldn't support a family with it. So then I got that job in that music store and started going for just had the knack for the guitar thing.
Yeah.
My sister had an antique shop and I was refinishing furniture. So it gave me a lot of experience with the woodworking and stuff like that with
Sure.
the finishes.
Who were some of your early guitar heroes when you were
Oh, well, there's Jeff Beck and there's Larry Carlton and there's, God, just so many of them. Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, of course. Many, many. And then some of the jazz guys like Wes Montgomery, Pat Martino, many of them.
Yeah. So between working in the music store and being a guitar guy and working in your sister's store, when did you first start, or when did you first think you could make guitars, or you wanted to make guitars?
Well, I was the owner of the music store was real supportive because I'd never done guitar repairs before, and I took over a position from a guy that was working there who went to work for Travis Bean, Mark McAwee, and he set me at the booth, gave me a couple tools, and says, "There you go. Here's some books." And I just did the live and learn thing,
Yeah.
And then the owner of the store started supporting me with more books, and I was interested in doing some kits. And at that time, I think it was Boogie Bodies. They were making kits, and then he got me a spray booth, and he just kind of helped me along. And then he had an old man there that was about 94 years old. Well, he started at 90. He was doing their guitar repairs, but he was getting too shaky. And he was a violin maker and a repairman. He used to be next to Milt Owens on Vine Street next to the LA Musicians Union. And he would come in and do repairs. So the boss of the store paid me to go to his house to learn how to do violins repairs and things like that. And a lot of hand tools.
Yeah, I bet.
And then I went off into, got a job doing Mighty Mike guitars. They were a company out in Camarillo. And I started as a setup man, and then I went through the whole routine about how you make a guitar and paint a guitar. Started off there, lasted a few years.
Yeah.
Should I keep going?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So then they had some financial problems with the banks and stuff, and it was time to go. And I went back to Burbank and opened up a little shop called the Guitar Doctor. And it was a repair shop, and I had a spray booth and some overhead pin router to make guitars, and just started off that way. Then was in there from 82 to 89, and Ibanez or Hoshino was looking to open up an Ibanez custom shop out in Los Angeles, and they were originally located in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. And they interviewed many people, and they interviewed me, and I got the job. and I had some machinery to start off so they could, get started. It was starting from scratch, and then they got into a big facility on Case Avenue in North Hollywood, and I worked there till about '97, and all I did was build guitars for the endorsement guys. And I had Joe Satriani and Steve Vai, Paul Gilbert, Andy Timmons, Richie Kotzen, and there's many players. So it gave me a lot of experience.
They wanted custom?
They wanted custom. I had to make the special necks for them, the way they wanted them. A lot of them weren't really sure how they wanted them.
Right.
So there's a lot of trial and error that went on. But I learned a lot. Then after that, I just couldn't deal with the 12-hour days, and that was probably '98 or so, and I had to leave. So unemployment for about 6 months and rested and just kind of got my head together. And then I had a friend that was Ken DePron who ran Yamaha, their custom shop, and I got a job putting together Pacifica Yamaha guitars for about a year and a half, and I believe the yen got really bad, and so they had to let me go, and then I just decided to start my own business, and it's been going out ever since.
Well, I suppose that after, working for everybody else, you're finally like, well, I can do this.
Oh yeah.
I can do it better.
Yeah, and also I had some experience working for Hofner. Went to Germany and saw some stuff there. But yeah, it was like I was pretty much into my own thing anyway, but I threw as much as I could of my own personality into everything I built anyway,
That's great.
But you have to go by the rules too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the changes you've seen in guitar making from the time that you started till present day?
Yeah, I mean, I started off pretty much in the artesian way, like just handmade stuff, routers. I used overhead pin router, and I started off that way, and I saw how it went into the CNC machines, and they did a lot more mass production, and then it went overseas a lot, and kind of lost that, the kind of like true art form of it, I mean, I've even made guitars, bodies and necks for other people that want to call it their guitar. They put their logo on it, and I was pretty much a contractor for them.
Sure.
And I saw that, even they ended up going to a CNC person because they could get more done faster, and it's pretty precise stuff. But the unique thing about making them by hand is there's like no two birds the same. They're just, you've got your personality in each guitar, and that's what pretty much I've been known for.
Yeah. Well, you make some beautiful instruments, that's for sure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would imagine that, because I'm a drummer, but I can imagine that even with guitars, like you can use the same kind of wood and get different characteristics out of it.
Yeah, you get different characteristics, different tones. A black guitar is just as cool to me as any, fancy wood one. But I kind of like the cool thing about wood. You can see all these movies in the wood, like pictures and things like that. But as long as they come out sounding real good, if you keep the combinations of the woods together to get the right tone out of the guitar. I've stepped into using a lot of roasted woods for my necks and even for my bodies. And what that does is takes the moisture out of all the wood, lightens them up, and that thing about looking for that vintage guitar, where they've been aged and they're, all settled in and everything like that. It kind of like that was my kind of thing, to go for the roasted wood because it already aged it.
Sure.
And it comes out really tight and stable. The necks are real stable, and the tone seems to be, pretty cool. Works out real good with that. So when you use the top on the top of the roasted woods, they're not real thick. They're a little under a quarter of an inch, but they give the appearance of that look, the cool look. And some of them add a little treble, some of them mid-range, just variations, but not very much.
Have you seen a lot of changes in the, obviously you make a lot of electric
Yes,
guitars.
I do,
Have you seen
yeah.
a lot of changes in the electronics that you put in them, or is it?
Not really. Not.
In a stable.
I haven't. I mean, I'm sure there's. I mean, I kind of stay away from the active, electronics. I pretty much use the passive electronics. I mean, I've noticed there's a lot more builders nowadays, and a lot more pickup manufacturers, or even your individuals that are doing boutique type stuff. But pretty much it's, for me, it's been pretty much the same thing,
Sure.
And, you can't go changing the wheel, but you can modify it a little bit, and stuff like that, So everything's, got people get a little bit further in their, the way they make things, and kind of catch the, they're always trying to do what the vintage guys used to do and get that same sound, So that's pretty much what I see happening with that,
Yeah. You've you just mentioned that there's a lot of guitar companies out there.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what makes Lipe Guitars stand out in your mind? You think from
Well,
everyone else?
It's been a passion to me. I've had a lot of experience with it. I use top quality woods. Just seem to just be my knack to do. I don't know. They just I've got lots of happy customers. Got guys going on their 5th guitars, selling their other guitars. I'm not going to mention other names that they sold and all that, but that's kind of a thing. So it's kind of given me a little confidence that I do make a good guitar. But I've also done a lot of engineering with a friend of mine that named Bruce Johnson, who we've come up with some little extra characteristics, not characteristics, but parts that go in the guitar that create a better sound, that add more sustain and ring to the guitar. I think we came upon something that's pretty good. It's on my website, explains a lot of that stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what's the website?
It's www.lipeguitars.com.
Nice.
That's Lipe.
Yeah. One more question, since we're at NAMM, and NAMM is all about making music. You've made music as a guitar player, and now you maybe you still play at home or whatever.
I play. I have a little blues band.
Oh, fantastic.
A little cool jazz and blues. I still play.
Yeah.
It's really my therapy. It's like just get you away from the everyday grind.
Yeah, get you out of the
I do
shower.
it about a couple days a week. I play out.
So between playing and making just beautiful instruments, what does music mean to you? What does it mean to your life?
To me, a lot of it is communication. I've been to a lot of different countries where you don't speak the same language, and played music with these guys, and you're talking to each other. You understand each other, and it's a lot of spiritual release and exception. Like it just makes you feel real good. And then you're able to express yourself that way too. So it's just a good thing. It's just I think it just makes everybody kind of happy, and you want it at least to make you happy. I mean, if it makes you not feel good about the thing, you should get out of it. That's basically how I feel about it.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I think we're good.
All right. Well, thanks
Thanks
very
for coming
much.
in, Mike.
Pleasure.
Appreciate you.
You-